Hello, this is Ben119 and welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to be analysing the first ever 49 in 70 star. So the first ever 49 was a 4942 and it was by Honey, and I think it was done like 8 years ago now. So that's pretty insane to think that the first 49 was 8 years ago and the first 46 was only a year ago. Because the world record now is 46, so this is 3 minutes slower than the world record now. So you may be thinking that this run is really bad and it's slow and it's unoptimal, but for its time this run is really good. And I've not watched the full run, but I've seen quite a bit of it, and from what I've seen I just know that it's going to be a good run to watch. So basically in this video I'm just going to be talking about the tricks that he uses in this run. I'm going to talk about what people do now, what's changed, little time saves, things like that, because I know quite a bit about 70 star. I wouldn't say like I am like a god at 70 star, I don't know everything, but I probably know enough to talk about this in depth. So first of all, he did Lakitu skip, which that is a very old school trick that was known about back then, so I'm not too surprised to see that. Obviously there is slightly faster ways of doing it now that like save like 0.1, but it's riskier to do. Also the routing, the 70 star route has changed a little bit recently because we now do Hazy Maze Cave late because it saves a few seconds because you're able to get the second MIPS while you're there. And in this run they don't do Hazy Maze Cave late because back then no one did that because no one thought about it. So obviously he just did Bomb Clip right there, and Bomb Clip was known about as well, which doesn't really surprise me too much because that's a pretty easy trick and it's a pretty old trick as well. So right now they're going to be doing the slide, which is interesting to me because this is a 1 second time save doing the Peaches slide first and then Womp's Fortress. And it's quite funny that it was known about back then and that it was used to only save a second. Like, you think that would be something that was only implemented a few years ago. But no, back then, even then, they were trying to save like every second possible. So the slide should be pretty much the same. This slide trick is really old, but it's still really interesting to see it done in an old run like this. By the way, this timer in the bottom corner, I have added this in afterwards because I just wanted to have a timer there so you can see like what time he's up to when he's doing certain stars or when he's at certain parts of the run. The original video didn't have the timer, but I just decided to include it, like I said, because I just think it's a cool little addition. So yeah. So he just did the first slide start, and so far this run looks like exactly the same as like a modern 70 star run. Like there's nothing about it that really looks off to me. Obviously the way it's recorded, like the graphics looks slightly like worse than nowadays because back then like it was harder to record things and the quality wasn't as high, but it still looks fine. Like it still looks watchable to me, which is cool. This was done on N64 by the way. And right here, this is really cool. He does the old cannonless. So back then, there was no setup for cannonless. So what you had to do is you just had to go for it. And you had a very small chance of getting it. And if you missed it, I presume you'd reset. Especially if it's like 70 star, because you want to save every second possible. So I know that runners used to reset even more often in Womps, because every time you miss that, you'd reset. Because it's not worth the time loss. But obviously if you get it, you save a lot of time and it's really cool. Okay, so he does Owless as well, which is quite interesting, because I wouldn't say Owless is a hard trick, but after doing Cannonless, you think that they just use the Owls just so they can minimize resets, but yeah, it's, as you can see, like tries to save every second possible by going for hard tricks like Owless. So yeah, it's really interesting to me, because I think back in the day, like when you ran things like 70 star, you had way more chance of resetting now. Like, I know runners reset a lot now, but back then, I think people reset even more just because of things like Cannonless going wrong. So it looks like he's doing 100 coin right now, and it looks like he's going for the half cycle route. So yeah, he's going for half cycle. He gets the extra coins on the circle as well. And the funny thing is, like, this is like the standard beginner cycle. It's not really a beginner cycle, but it's like the cycle that like mid-level runners go for. It's the cycle that I usually get. And it's funny to see the world record doing it. And the way he actually did it wasn't even slow because he got extra coins in the coin ring. And he has really good movement as well, so yeah. Oh yeah, right there he didn't get those 2 coins. I think that's quite clever of him because he didn't need them and he would have just lost time by getting them. But other than half cycle, I know runners do that the fast cycle now. This 100 coin looked pretty much like identical to a modern 100 coin. A lot of things in this run I presume will look very similar to movement nowadays, but the only thing, I just think that some parts will look a little bit unoptimal, or there'll be some kind of mistakes in the run that will lose him time. Other than that, I think the run will be fine. Oh yeah, back on the topic of talking about N64, the reason I mention that is because emulator and Virtual Console don't have as much lag, and I know Virtual Console has no lag, so both of those versions run faster, so the time that you get would be different. Like for example, I'm pretty sure if you did this same run on Virtual Console, it'd be the equivalent of like a mid 48. So yeah, I'm just saying that it's N64 because that's what most people consider to be the version that everyone runs on. I'm not sure what the word is. Like the main edition, I guess you could say, that everyone runs on competitively. And it's just because like it's the most fair and it has lag, and yeah, it's just the original version and that's the rules in the community, so everyone runs on N64. So yeah, this was the first 49 as well, like it wasn't just the first 49 on like emulator or whatever. So yeah, he's doing Womp King, and as you can see, the strat where you ground pound through the Womp King was known about back then, which is pretty cool. I think a lot of stuff was actually known about back then. It's actually quite surprising to see the amount of stuff that was known about back in the day. And it is really interesting to me looking at this old run. So it looks like he's doing one more star. Obviously he's doing Womps 9 because he got the slide first. And yeah, we'll see what his split time is at the end of this star. But so far this has been a really, really good run. Like he's had a really clean Womps Fortress. Cannonless went well, and yeah, he's just had really good movement overall. So right here, I know a lot of runners now do a long jump over to the star rather than a dive. I think it's slightly faster. But yeah, I'm pretty sure that was a 6:48 Womps 9, which is probably faster than my gold. So yeah, that's a really good Womps, especially for its time as well. Like sub 650 is really good. I think like the world record, like that does Womps 9. I know world records don't do Womps 9, they do Womps 10. I'm pretty sure like a world record kind of time now would be like 640. So yeah, it just shows that with like tiny little optimizations you can save a few seconds. But at the same time it does show like how good this run is still today. So it looks like he's doing the second slide right here. And yeah, he does it exactly the same as the first. He also got a 12.6, which I just noticed, which is a really, really fast slide time. Like 12.6 is really good. Right, so now he's going to be doing wing cap, I presume, and then I presume he'll do Dark World. So the route now is like exactly the same as what people do now. Okay, so he's going down for the first 2 coins. I kind of expected to see that because like that is known about, and obviously it's a lot faster than getting the top 2. But yeah, I wonder how long this person practiced for before getting a 49. I bet it was like at least a year or 2. Because getting a 49 is not easy. Like even today with all the strats that are known about now, like 49 is still a really insane thing to accomplish in this game. And if you do ever get a 49, like mad respect to you because it is really hard to do. So yeah, he's just got the wing cap, and he also did the text box skip. I think I didn't mention that before, but the text box skip is basically where you jump off the switch into the star, or you roll out off the switch into the star, and it skips the text from the switch. So yeah, it saves you a few seconds, so that was cool that he did that. So I'm going to guess that he goes for Shigeru cycle. I know some top runners now do Tsukishima cycle, which is basically 4 seconds faster than Shigeru. But I know that that is like stupidly hard, and I know that the standard back then, and even sometimes now, is like Shigeru cycle. Because the thing is, you can make a few tiny mistakes and you can still get it. And it's just a really safe cycle to go for if you're a top runner, because I don't know, it's just really consistent. The movement's consistent. Like the movement is quite hard as a beginner to learn, but once you get it down, you should be able to get it like most of the time. I know that when I do this level, I usually get Shigeru cycle most of the time, and even if I don't, I only lose a few seconds to get in normal cycle. So yeah, that Dark Wall was really good. That was a really good Shigeru cycle. He also got the double first frame wall kicks near the end to get up the slope faster, which was impressive. I doubt that was intentional. I think he just got that like by accident, but kind of went with it. So yeah, he's going to be doing Bowser now. He's going to throw him into the spike. There you go. That's a pretty good spin. You can get Bowser to dance there, but it's like really rare occurrence that can sometimes happen. It's like, I think it's like a 1% chance. I'm not entirely sure though. I think it is more than 1%. I've heard people say it's 1%, but I don't really believe that. I think it's like 5%. And there you go, he's done Dark World. So we got a 9:55 Dark World time, which for like getting 12 stars and then doing Dark World, that's pretty insane. Like a 9:55 is really good. Like I know you can get like you could probably get 10:10 like nowadays, and you'd probably still be like a 49 runner. But yeah, it's crazy to see that people are getting sub 10 back then. Like I think my best is like, I think it's like 10:15 or something. So yeah, it's pretty crazy if you can get sub 10 after Dark World in 70 star. So it looks like he's doing sky jump now. I'm not surprised to see this because this is quite an old trick as well that was known about. Small mistake right there, he just slightly missed that ground pound. So yeah, there is going to be some small mistakes like that where he like misses a ground pound or he slightly misses something, but there's nothing huge, I don't think. I don't think there's any deaths in this run or anything that loses like 20 plus seconds. But I'll have to see. There may be. I'm not sure though because I've not seen the full run. But yeah, it looks like he's doing Cool Mountain now. And he should be doing Cool Mountain 18. I know nowadays runners do Cool Mountain 17 and then they get an extra star in Shifting Sandland because I think it's a few seconds faster if you're good at Pillarless. But yeah, I'm pretty sure back then they just did Cool Mountain 18, which is completely understandable. And right there, that is something I was actually surprised to see. I'm really surprised to see that method used for wall kicks will work. I was thinking he was just going to do the beginner method where he jumps down and then kicks, and then he just uses like the ramp to climb up and then uses the wall jumps. I didn't expect him to do the backflip wall kick off that wall because that's pretty hard to do. Like I think back then it might have even been like a single star strat. So it's surprising to see it being used in a run, but I guess in 70 star you want to save every second possible, so you're probably going to see more risky strats in this run. Because I know the first ever 149, I think it came out a year before this. I'm talking about 120 star, the first 149. And I remember watching that, and a lot of the strats used in that run were a lot safer than this run. However, I do know that 49 is obviously more impressive than 149. Because I think 149 is probably the equivalent to like a 51 or a 50 in 70 star. I say a 140... like a 49 and 70 star I would say is the equivalent to like a 146, 145 in 120 star. I'm not like saying that's definite, but in my opinion I think a 49 is worth like 146, 145 kind of skill. So right there, slide skip was obviously done, and I like how he did the edge clip near the end. Like you can just roll out into the wall and then hold right and you then slide across the wall to the left into the door. But I like how he had to go for the edge clip. And because the edge clip is really risky to do, because if you mess it up you can fall and die, and if you go too far to the left you can hit the wall and die, and sometimes you don't even clip. It's really risky to go for, and it's quite surprising to see it being done back then. Even though a lot of small things are being done, like it's still surprising to see that. Okay, so he looks like he's doing 100 coin, and this looks exactly the same to what everyone does now. Like I'm not surprised to see this. I think something that is done that's faster now is he did a side flip up to that ramp there, and I'm pretty sure you can do a double jump kick, or you can even do a triple jump up there, which is harder to do because you have more risk of falling, but it saves time over turning and side flipping. So yeah, right now he's just collecting the coins. He did miss a coin right there. I'm not sure if he meant to miss that coin, but yeah, he did miss a coin, so you can't miss any more coins right now because you can only miss one on this route. I think this is somewhat of a roadblock to beginners learning 70 star this star, because it can be quite difficult, and if you miss like even one coin, not one coin, if you miss 2 coins you can't like get both stars because you'll have 99 coins or you get beat by the penguin, and it's just a difficult star to do for beginners. Once you get it down it's not too bad, and if you do really struggle with it you can get like extra coins from the blue coin switch, or you could get the safety red. But yeah, he managed to do it just fine there. And he finished Cool Mountain with a 14:13, which is absolutely insane thinking about it. Like he got a low 14 Cool Mountain, which is like a really good pace. So that should mean he should get a sub 16 Big Boo Hunt right now. So yeah, he's on a pretty good pace so far, and he looks like he's playing really well. He's probably green at the moment. I don't know because he's not like using splits. But I presume he's in the green because he's playing really well. So there's 2 stars in Big Boo Hunt, and so far, like watching this run, like I was saying, like I've not seen anything that's like really weird and outdated. Like everything I've seen so far is like stuff you'd expect to see in a run nowadays. Even the route like looks like a route that's done nowadays, like it is a route that's done nowadays. So it looks like he's doing the boo first. So interestingly enough, the roof kill was known about back then, and he did that really well as well. Like he managed to do that roof kill really fast. I like the little dive he does into the star there. I'm not sure if that's intentional or not, but it looks cool no matter what. So yeah. So he's got one more star to do in Big Boo Hunt, which is the... I call it the bookcase star, but you don't even bother with the bookcase room, so... Yeah, you could just call it the jump kick star, because you usually just jump kick to it. I don't know really, you can just come up with whatever name you want for it. So yeah, we are 15 minutes in. So yeah, that's pretty cool. I don't know why I'm mentioning that. But interestingly enough, he does like a wall kick right here, which is really cool. I think that's slower. I'm not sure why he does that, because surely it would just be easier to just jump kick across. Like that wall kick there doesn't really look faster to me. However, if you do wall kick and then you land directly into the star, I can maybe see how it could be faster, but to me it just looks riskier, because if you miss the wall kick you could fall down or you could get a bad angle. So it just looks so much safer and quicker to just jump kick to it, but it's cool that that was used. Maybe that was just something he came up with, or maybe it was a norm back then, but I'm not sure. So yeah, he got a 15 Big Boo Hunt, which is insane. And yeah, he just got MIPs. He didn't use the punch method. I do know now that some top runners use the punch method, which is where you run past MIPs, and I think you hold neutral and punch, because it saves time over Mario getting up out of his dive animation. I think it saves about half a second, which is very small, but obviously you want to save everything you can. But I do know that it's very risky, because if you miss the punch, which is easy to do, the rabbit can like run off and you have to spend loads of time chasing it. So I would just recommend sticking to the dive. Even as like a high level runner, you should just stick to doing that if you're not comfortable with punching, because it's only half a second. Interesting to see the wing cap star, and also something I didn't mention is he's doing Lethal Lava Land now. I'm not sure how much time save or loss this is, but you're supposed to do Shifting Sandland first, but back then I think they did Lethal Lava Land. To me, I think the speed is probably about the same. I don't really see how it could lose time, because you go past Lethal Lava Land anyway. So it kind of makes sense to do it now. But I think the reason why runners do Shifting Sandland first now is not only because I think it may be faster, but I think it's just because you can get like Pillarless out of the way, because that's quite a hard trick and it can end runs. So I think doing Shifting Sandland first can be safer, and it can be better for runs. But doing Lethal Lava Land first I think is also cool, and it'd be cool to see more runners do that if they want to. Also, he just did Lava Boost. Like, this is not Lava Boost, this is a different trick. And Lava Boost is really cool, and it's like a 70-star exclusive strat, and it's cool to see it being used. Oh, right there, that was a mistake. That's like the first like proper mistake I've just seen. Even that I wouldn't consider a proper mistake, because he didn't like fall down and die. But he went for the dive towards the star, and he managed to bonk because he tried to dive too early, I think. And he almost fell and died. Like, he fell on the platform, so he got really lucky. And he managed to just re-grab the pole and get the strat, so it was okay. But if something had just gone slightly wrong there, like even more wrong than it went, like he could have easily just died and lost the run. Like, the thing is with this game, unless you've played it, you don't know how easy it is to lose runs. It is ridiculously easy to be playing on a really good pace and to feel completely fine, and then the next minute you're dead and your run's dead and you feel bad. Hopefully it doesn't happen. It probably will happen, sadly, to you, because it happens to everyone, especially if you're trying to get a good time. But yeah, you just gotta deal with it, I guess, and try and move on from it and not let it affect you too much, and just knowing that this can happen is like a good thing. Like, trying to avoid things like that is just, I don't know, trying to avoid your emotions is bad when you're playing this game. I just accept it and move on, or just reset. Because like, the longer you just get annoyed over it, like, that's not good. I don't know what I'm trying to say here, but yeah, I just completely skipped talking about this star because it's exactly the same. Some stars are exactly the same as now, like there's not really too much to say, so if a star is exactly the same I might just mention it, or I'll try not to just mention it at all, because I feel like some of my commentary is being wasted on stuff that doesn't need mentioning. Like right here, like that long jump strat over to the bully is exactly the same, and probably will be for the next like years. Right here, this bully kill is cool. This is exactly the same as well. And yeah, he's done with Lethal Lava Land in 1955. I think that is, yeah, 1955. Which I'm not sure if that's really good. That looks really good. I don't know if it's good or not because I know runners nowadays don't do Lethal Lava Land. First, they do Shifting Sandland first, so obviously it's not quite accurate. But right now he's doing Shifting Sandland. So after doing Shifting Sandland, they'll be able to see if this is good pace or bad pace. Well, it'll obviously be good pace. Why would it be bad pace? But right here he just did the Talon Star. This is the same as before. I like how he went on the right side of the pillar because going on the right side of the pillar is safer because the fly guy doesn't go towards you. I wonder if that was by accident or whether he knew to do that. So yeah, it's interesting to see the Shy Guy strat being used. And it looks like he's going to do 2 more stars, so we're probably going to see the Pillar Star and we're going to see the main Pyramid Star. So right here, this is something I do know about, and it's really cool. I never see it done before. I think this is one of the first times I've seen it been done. And it's called Shellless, and basically it's getting the Pillar Star without using the shell. And he made a small mistake there on the 3rd pillar. He managed to lose some of his speed, which was a bit sad. But I can imagine if you're at full speed and you do the whole thing with no movement mistakes, it is faster than using the shell. Also, it looks really cool and hard, and it's really cool to see a runner actually do that in a run. And I think this is before Pillarless was known about, because if Pillarless was known about, I presume he'd do that instead, but obviously that was probably, I don't think it was known back then, or even if it was probably way too hard to be done in runs. But yeah, seeing that Shellless done was really interesting to me. And right there, he did make another small mistake. So there is some small mistakes in this run. Like, don't think this run is perfect, because no run is perfect. Like, even the world record now has got a few silly mistakes. But like right there, yeah, he did fall down the pyramid a bit, but he managed to save it. And right there, he got like a 21:40 something, I think, Shifting Sandland time. So obviously that would normally be your Lethal Lava Land time, because you usually have 30 stars at this point. So yeah, 21 is like really good. I'm pretty sure 21 is 49 pace. I see a lot of runners nowadays with a 49 getting like 21 Lethal Lava Land times. So yeah, this is pretty good pace so far. And if you're a new 70 star runner and you've not really watched any 70 star from years ago, this may look really weird to you, but he's doing Hazy Maze Cave now. And to me this just looks normal, even though I am a fairly new runner still. I consider myself a new runner, because I started in like 2017-18ish. But yeah, Hazy Maze Cave was done now rather than later, because the 2nd MIPS wasn't considered to be fast enough to be in the route. So yeah, you're going to be seeing Hazy Maze Cave now. And I like how he went for box jump, because box jump is a cool strat. I wouldn't say box jump is that hard, but it can just be really finicky, like to jump off the box. And it's really easy to break the box as well, so you can lose a lot of time if you don't know what you're doing. So right there, he got that star. So every star in this level should be pretty much the same to watch. So yeah. So he's going to be doing this star right here. I presume he's going to do watch for rolling rocks right now. Something as well, I'm not sure if, I don't think he's going to do this, but I know that some 70 star runners, mainly beginner runners, used to do the Toxic Maze star, which is the star where you go through the maze and then you go up the elevator. And it is like barely fast enough to be in the route. I would recommend it to beginners, and I think the reason they did it back then was to cut out the 100 coin star in TikTok clock. But that was more a beginner strat that beginner runners would do to cut out that star, because it's quite a hard star. And I do recommend it, like even now I'd recommend doing that to cut out like the Cruiser star in Rainbow Ride if you're a beginner, because that can be a really difficult star to learn. Or even if there's just any stars you're super uncomfortable with, like as a beginner I'd recommend doing that. Obviously if you're wanting to take the game more seriously, I'd just recommend learning the stars you're uncomfortable with, because that'll benefit you more in the long run. But yeah, right here I think he's just wrapping up Hazy Maze Cave, and he gets a 24-minute Hazy Maze Cave time, which seems really decent to me. Like, I'm actually not too sure if that's good or bad, because I don't run this route anymore. I think when I did run this route, I got like a 26, but that was when I had like a 55. So yeah, obviously it was a few minutes slower. So right now we're gonna be doing Dada Docs. Well, he's gonna be doing Dada Docs. I'm just sitting here commentating it. Like, he's the one playing. And this was 8 years ago. He's not even playing right now. It's not even live. So yeah, Didox. This would usually be done straight after Lethal Lava Land, but obviously now it's done after Hazy Maze Cave. And he should be doing the chest star first, and it is faster to do the chest star first, because if you do the sub star first, you'll be locking yourself out of, well, you're not locking yourself out of anything, but the painting will move back further, and when the painting moves back, it takes longer to get into it. So obviously doing this star first the painting will still be close to you when you do the sub stars. You may not have, you'll probably have no idea what I'm on about, but basically, once you do the sub-star, the painting moves back, so it takes longer to get into the painting. So doing as many stars as you can now, before it moves back, is quicker. So as you can see right here, the painting's here. But if you do it after doing the sub-star, the painting will be behind where the fire sea hole is. So yeah, that's just the way to explain it, I guess. If you don't know this game very well, then yeah. So swimming, I don't really see any mistakes with swimming. Obviously, it could maybe be a tiny bit more optimal now. Like, you could probably save a few frames here and there, and you can maybe go slightly tighter to the corners. But other than that, the swimming looks really good to me. And it looks like he's doing lag reduction as well. It looks like he's about to do some lag reduction strats. And there's something I don't really talk about. It's one, because I play an emulator and I don't really have to deal with much lag reduction. And I just don't really talk about it much because I don't really know too much about lag reduction. I know about this, obviously. You want to keep your camera away from the sub as much as you can. But like when it comes to very small time saves with lag reduction, I don't really know much about it, to be fair. Right here, he's doing Fire Sea first, which is something I used to always do. And you basically do this first, and then you do the last star in Didox. And I always thought it was faster, and I think it is around the same speed, so yeah. So right here, he's doing Fire Sea, which is really cool. And it looks like he's actually going for the lava boost cycle, which is really insane to think, because I was thinking that he's just going to do the fast cycle. Because fast cycle is cool, and it's fast obviously, but lava boost cycle is like really hard to do consistently. And it's surprising to see him going for it, and let's see if he gets it. Yep, he barely gets it. That was a very close lava boost, like he almost didn't get it right there. But it's absolutely insane to see, like 8 years ago, someone actually doing lava boost and getting it in a run, because it's really hard strat to go for. And if you haven't grinded it out before, you don't know how hard it is. Like I'm honestly surprised to see so many runners nowadays actually picking this strat up in runs and getting it like consistently, because it is extremely hard. I doubt it'll be something I bother with for a while because it's hard and I'm happy just doing the fast cycle. But lava boost is insane to watch, and it saves, like, I'm not sure how much time it saves, but it saves quite a bit because it saves having to climb up the lift, the scissor lift. I call it the scissor lift. So yeah, it saves time climbing up the scissor lift, which is cool. So yeah, that's a really good Fire Sea, and he's probably like way ahead of his PB by now, and he's probably really nervous because he's about halfway through the run. Well, he's slightly over halfway through, but normally at this point, this is like the halfway point normally with today's route. So yeah, he's got one more star to do, and then he's going to be going upstairs. So yeah, this is a really good run so far. He's obviously had a few small mistakes, but I think that just happens to everyone. Like, everyone has a few small mistakes in like the first half of their run, even on good runs. So yeah, I can imagine like being a runner at this time, watching this run, like you probably think this is almost impossible to beat, and I bet he set a really good challenge for anyone trying to beat this as well. I'm not sure how long this world record lasted. I'll have to look into that. But I know that it's obviously really monumental to be the first 49. And surprisingly enough, even though it is the first 49, like, this run does not have as many views as the 120 star 149. I'm not sure why, but I don't think this run even has like 100,000 views, which is interesting to me, because you think this would have like over 1 million views being the first 49, but it doesn't. So right here, he manages to get a 29-minute upstairs time, which at this time I think that's really good. I know nowadays most people who are getting 49s get a 26-minute upstairs time, but the difference is now people do Hazy Maze Cave late, and Hazy Maze Cave takes about 3 minutes. But obviously in this run he's already done Hazy Maze Cave, so the fact that he's getting a 29 is like the equivalent to a 26 nowadays, basically, if you get what I mean. So yeah, he's on 49 pace, is what I'm trying to say. So right now he's doing Wet Dry World 100 coin, And it's interesting to know that this star is fast enough to be in the route. Like, I know 100 coin stars are actually quite fast because you get 2 stars at once and you have to re-enter to get another star. And this is just a really fast star because one, like, a lot of the coins are really fast and you get like groups of 10 at once, which is obviously really fast. And with the route that you do, you manage to get a lot of the secrets along the way. So it makes complete sense, to be honest, to do this. And his movement does seem pretty good. I like how he went to kill that spider before getting the blue coin switch. It seemed quite slow to me, but I guess it's a really safe way of doing that because you can risk getting the blue coins and then the blue coins disappearing on you if you take too long to kill the spider. But yeah, it's quite interesting to see. So he managed to get all these coins here. A little ledge grab there. That was a little bit slow. He probably lost about a second to that ledge grab, but oh well. Right here, he's getting the coins from here. And yeah, dive down to the last few coins. And there you go, he's got 100. That was pretty quick. Obviously, a few very small mistakes, but other than that, like, very good 100 coin. And yeah. I'm not sure if that's normal, but Mario was like facing away from the camera there for a minute, which is pretty cool to see. And something I did notice, which is a bit weird, I didn't really mention, I'm not sure if I mentioned this in the other run I analysed, but for some of the things, like for some of the text boxes, he does save and he continues and saves. With some of them, he doesn't save the game. I'm not sure why. He does continue no save for some of them, and he does save and continue for some of them. Because I think back then it wasn't even known about that was faster to do, like not saving the game. So maybe he just did that by accident with some of the text boxes, but it's really weird to see because he does it on some of them and he doesn't do it on other ones. So maybe it's just coincidence. So yeah, you might have to look out for that near the start of the run because he sometimes doesn't save. Right there he did the elevator star, and he actually did something that was quite risky, and it was wall kicking between the walls without getting on the elevator first. Because if you get on the elevator and then you start wall kicking, you can have like a you can have an angle that's slightly to the right, so then you can get up to the star easier. But if you start wall kicking straight away, then your angle's just going to be straight, or even to the left slightly. So it's a lot harder to get up to where the platform is with the star, and it can be risky if you fall down because you can completely fall and miss the elevator going up and you can kill the run. But yeah, it's interesting to see strats like that were done. Obviously the ramp triple jump was not done back then, and I don't blame him, even if it was known about, because it's insanely hard and risky and finicky. The ramp triple jump is basically where you get a weird triple jump off that ramp down there, and you can wall kick off the cage and barely land up on one of the ledges, and it saves a few seconds because you don't have to go on the boxes. But it's a pretty difficult triple jump, and if you mess it up you can fall into the water and like lose a run. So yeah, I don't blame him for not going for that because it's a pretty difficult trick in my opinion. So right now he's doing Tiny Huge Island, and yeah, he got a 32 Wet Dry World, which is pretty cool. I'm going to kind of stop talking about the pace times because I don't really know too much about this route and pace times. Oh, it's interesting to see right there, he probably lost a good bit of time. He probably lost at least 5 seconds right there. And yeah, he lost some time there. He probably lost almost 10 seconds on that star because he got burnt. And then he managed to like not get up to the top quick enough, so he had to like re-triple jump to get up to the 5th secret. Like right there, it just shows how easy it is you can lose time and how quick time just loses in this game. Like it's so easy to just make a small mistake like that and just lose several seconds to it, and it can like change what pace you're on sometimes. Also, it's really easy to like save time as well if you're playing well, and you can sometimes save a lot of time without realizing it, just from having smooth gameplay. Okay, this is pretty cool right here. I know nowadays there is a new strat where you can clip up through the mountain and save a second, but you manage to just go round nice and fast, so yeah, that's pretty cool to see. And he's probably doing one more star in this level. I do know back in the day, I'm not sure if he does it in this run, but I know some runners used to do it, but you can do the red coin star in Tiny Huge Island. It's a pretty fast star to do, and it's a pretty safe, I wouldn't say it's safe, but it's easier than doing like the TikTok Clock 100 coin star or the Cruiser star in Rainbow Ride, for example. So it's a pretty good star to go for as a beginner getting into this. And I think when I first learned 70 star, I think I actually did do the Tiny Huge Island reds when I first learned 70. So yeah, it's pretty cool to go for. So right here he does a Piranha Plant star, that was very nice and fast. and he manages to get the star. And yeah, he's got a 34 THI, which is cool. So yeah, now he's probably going to be doing Tall Tall Mountain, and then Snowman's Land, and then he's doing Rainbow Ride and TikTok Clock. So yeah, he talks to Toad first. I'm not sure where I've seen this before, but I swear in an old run I've watched, I've seen someone talk to Toad after doing Tall Tall Mountain. I'm not sure why, but yeah. It's interesting to see that you just talk to him first, which is good, because that's the proper way to do it, in my opinion. So right here, there is going to be Mountain Clip. I know there's Mountain Clip, because I've seen this part of the run before. So yeah, he does Mountain Clip. That was a lot slower than the way people do it now. I know some top runners do a way of doing it called Insta Clip, which is where you instantly clip up through the water, because you get a good angle dive into it. But obviously back then Mountain Clip wasn't as optimal. It's obviously optimal strat to go for, but obviously it wasn't as optimized. You'd have to land in the water and then swim up, which is still really fast to do, don't get me wrong. It's still what I do sometimes. But yeah. Also, I like how when he did the waterfall star, he managed to do the wall kick into the waterfall, which is interesting to see. Because I was actually thinking that he'd actually do the safer strat where you go above and then long jump into the gap, or you'd slide kick in, but he managed to just do the long jump wall kick in, which is risky to go for. And he manages to do this star as well, nice and fast, jump diving into the star. And yeah, it's pretty insane to see this kind of movement back then, because you gotta remember this was 8 years ago, and this game was nowhere near as big as it is now 8 years ago. And there was nowhere near as many top runners, or runs to learn from, or guides, or tutorials. Nowadays you got Discord, if you have any issues with this game, you can just ask, and 99% of the time someone will be able to answer your question. And it's just so much easier. You got the Usamune ROM, you've got practice codes, you got the whole community helping you. You got thousands of YouTube videos and tutorials and other runners to learn from. But back then there was nowhere near as much to learn from, because one, the internet was nowhere near as big a thing as it is now. There was less people, speedrunning was less known about. And yeah, it's just a lot harder to get into, so I have even more respect for some of these runners now for doing what they do, because obviously they didn't have as much help as we do now. I feel like a lot of runners, I know a lot of runners now are really good, but I feel like there was a lot more natural skill to speedrunning back then. I feel like a lot of runners, especially Japanese runners, have a lot of just natural skill and gameplay when it comes to this game. And you can just tell by some runners that they are top runners just by the way they play. This guy, you can tell he's really good, Honey, with the way he's playing now. Even when he does easy stars, you can tell. So right here, I kind of didn't talk about the red coin star or the mushroom star, because I was kind of talking about something else, but they looked pretty much the same as what you'd see now. The red coin star was slightly slower than what you'd see now, but the method he used was still really fast, and it's what a lot of mid-level runners use nowadays, so it's still cool to see. Box jump looked pretty much the same, and right there he didn't do breezeless, because I'm pretty sure breezeless wasn't known about. So yeah, obviously breezeless is quite a big time save for 70 star, because I think it saves about 8 or 9 seconds. So obviously that's pretty huge for 70 star being a 50-minute category. So obviously if it was known about back then, he would have done it. Also, this strat was not known about, because there is a faster way of doing this where you slide off the slope to the right and you can get up here quicker by doing a weird wall kick. But instead he just jumps over the ramp and then wall kicks up normally. Because I'm pretty sure it wasn't known about, or if it was single star only, because it was hard. But yeah, he's done Tall Tall Mountain. Obviously I got a 37 Tall Tall Mountain, so he's doing Snowman's Land now. And right here, it looks like he's gonna be doing the box star now, which is nice. I know nowadays, if you're new to 70 star, I know I say that sometimes, if you're new to 70 star, and you're watching this now with not much knowledge from old runs, runners used to do the shell star in this, and some runners still do. I do it still to this day, because it cuts out doing TikTok Clock 100 coin. And it's just a really cool star to go for, and it's a really fast star still. I think it's a 30 something seconds. It's still really fast to do nowadays. I don't get why more runners don't do it, because it's a really cool star. But yeah, so you go on the shell right here. You go onto this part of the ramp and you can get some momentum from that part of the ramp, and then you can just get all the coins, and it's really nice and fast. So there you go. you got all 8, and then you can get the star. Like, I see that as like a classic star. I still think of that as a 70-star star, even though it's not really in the official route now. But yeah, I still do it, and I would still recommend doing it if you're a new or even mid-level runner of 70-star. Right, so he's got like 10 minutes left of the run. Like, he's gonna be done in 10 minutes. So yeah, he has a really good like tippy, I presume, obviously, if he's gonna be done in 10 minutes time from now. Oh, small mistake right there. He managed to miss that. I like how some of the mistakes he's making are like really weird things. Like the thing he did in Lethal Lava Land, that was a mistake. Like that, I've never really seen that happen 21 before. And the mistake he made just there was like a really simple mistake. It was just like missing like the triple jump and just sliding off because you didn't jump fast enough. But when it comes to like the hard tricks, when it comes to like Bowser in the Fire Sea, he seems to like not make any mistakes there. He doesn't seem to make any mistakes on like harder stars with like complex movement. But as soon as it comes to like simpler stars, he seems to be making some small mistakes, which I guess is fair enough. Because I know back then it was a lot harder to practice, because I don't think they had like the stuff they do now where you can practice stars individually. And I presume that a lot of runners back then put most of their time into the harder stars and the harder time saves that saved more time and had more risk to them. Now obviously he'd practice all the other stars, but I presume he'd probably put less time into them. But yeah, he's going to do Tippy now. And he's doing Rainbow Ride first. I've seen in some old 70-star runs, runners doing TikTok Clock first, and then do Rainbow Ride. But no, he seems to be doing Rainbow Ride. And this is really interesting seeing this. He's doing tricky triangles. For a minute I thought he was going to be doing the pendulum star, but no, he's doing tricky triangles right here. So yeah, that's pretty much the same as how runners do tricky triangles now. I know there is the left side strat, which saves like 2 or 3 seconds, where you can long jump to the left side of that triangle when you long jump over to the area. And I know it's like a lot riskier because you have to get a really weird long jump angle, but obviously he didn't do that. Right here, I'm pretty sure he's doing Swinging in the Breeze right now. So he's going to be doing the exact same long jump over here. And I'm pretty sure this is like the same speed as doing the strat that everyone does now, where you climb up the side of a pendulum. Because you catch the same cycle, so it's pretty much the same speed. If anything, I think the way he did it there was harder, and I think that it's riskier because you have to do a triple jump wall kick to get up there. That's just my opinion though. But it's really cool to see that strat being used. So it looks like right now he's going to be doing the red coin star. And yeah, it's okay, interesting to see. He does that wall kick. That wall kick is a lot harder to do than it looks, because you have to hit that wall and you have to like go around the wall. And I've actually stopped doing that. I do it in 70, but I think I stopped doing it in 120 because I lost a run to it, or I lost a load of time to it at one point. But yeah, you have to wall kick around the wall and then grab the ledge above you, and if it goes wrong, it can be really bad, and it can really slow to back up. But yeah, that was a really clean red coins, obviously. Like right there, I'm not sure if you saw that, but he did continue no save, and I have no idea why he did that. Because, like I was saying back then, I'm not sure if it was even known about. Also, right here, no Lakitu bounce. Interesting to me. Because Lakitu bounce is like a pretty big time save. I think it saves like 10 to 15 seconds. So it's interesting to see that he didn't do it. I think that either it wasn't known about, or he was really nervous and he didn't go for it. But it's most likely that it wasn't known about back then. So yeah, that is like the intermediate way of doing that star. You want to just long jump up to where that platform is, and you wall kick on the wall, and you can go around and get up to where the carpets are, and you can long jump to the cruiser. Pretty risky, but it's easier than doing Lakitu bounce. So yeah, he's done Rainbow Ride, and he's at 43 minutes. So if he has a good TikTok clock and a good sky, he can get a 49. Which he does get a 49, obviously. So he does Toad before TikTok clock, which is interesting because I know runners nowadays do Toad afterwards. But yeah. So it looks like the first star he's going for is a moving star, which is interesting to see. He does the get a hand right there, very nice. I think we're gonna see moving stars for all like 3 that you do move in, because like that was the standard. Like even now, like now it's the standard, but back then it was even the standard. He's going in on 12 now, so I presume he's going to be doing 100 coin. Now 100 coin is like a very scary star, like even nowadays. Oh wait, he's not doing 100 coin yet. I presume he'll do that like in a minute. Okay, he's going to be doing the, what's it called? the not pit and the pendulums. Is it called pit and the pendulums, this one? No, it's not. It's time jumps on moving bars he's doing now. And he gets the first frame wall kick straight into the cage, which I'm not sure if he meant to do that, but if you get a first frame, you can go flying straight in without having to touch any of the time jumps on moving bars. So yeah, that was very fast. Looks like he's going in on 12 again. He's saving some of the moving stars till later. I think the reason why he did that first moving star was just so he could get in quicker, because the hand was closer to like 9 than it was to 12. So yeah, that makes sense. So right now he is going for 100 coin, and interesting, no safety red. He's not getting the safety red coin, which is something I see even some top runners do nowadays. The safety red does lose a few seconds, because you have to go out of your way to get an extra red coin. However, it does like give you a bit of a safety net, because if you do lose any of these coins, then you do have like spare coins, I guess. Interesting, he didn't turn, when he did that triple jump up to the platform above, he didn't even turn the camera to line it up. Like, that looked really risky, because that's quite a hard triple jump wall kick as it is, but he didn't even line up the camera. So yeah, that was really cool. So yeah, this is a really fast 100 coin, and like to this day, this would be like, to me, I would consider this to be a good 100 coin still. Like, obviously the end was a little bit sloppy, like you had to run after those last 2 coins, but even so, like, that was really good. Like, that's like better than what I could do, I'd say. I'm not saying I'm not very good, to be honest. But there you go, he manages to get up to the star. It's a very nice way of getting up to that star. Based on where the thwomp is, you want to do different movement. Like, if the thwomp is like higher up, you can wall kick off the lower platform and then wall kick off the thwomp. If the thwomp is on its way up, you can wall kick straight off him. You kind of just have to learn where the thwomp is and then react accordingly to it with wall kicks. It's quite hard to get down, but once you get it down, it's not too bad. So yeah, he does another moving star right here. And yeah, that's a cool movement right there. That's really smooth. I like those wall kicks. They look very cool. And now he's just got 2 stars left. So he's going to be doing the cage star and the red coin star, I presume. And then he's going to be doing Bowser in the sky. So he's waiting on 12 right there. He should have just done the moving star first. Like, I would have just got the moving star out of the way, because I'd be nervous at this point. So yeah, red coins is a really easy star. Obviously he has to complicate it for himself by doing that triple jump, which scares me sometimes when I see people do that, because it's unnecessary and it's hard. So yeah, there we go, he gets this star, and yeah, we're going to be seeing one more star. So the last star that he's doing is going to be the cage star, which is cool. And I like how he's left that till last, because that's usually one of the first ones that I do. But yeah, that's interesting to see star order. Star order is a thing that's really interesting to me, because every runner has like a different star order. And it's just interesting to see how runners approach different stages, because usually I like to get the riskiest stars out the way first in stages. Sometimes I like to do 100 coin first, sometimes I do 100 coin last. It just depends on what mood I'm in. But usually I have the same kind of order every time. So yeah, this has been a really cool run to watch. He's at 47 minutes. He's got like a high 47 TTC time. So obviously if he has a good sky and he doesn't miss any throws, he's going to nail a 49. He might even get a mid 49, which he does. He gets like a 49, 42, which I would consider to be like mid 49. Which I was saying before, that is insane, because as the first 49, you'd expect it to be like a high 49, like barely 49. But no, it's straight up a mid 49 as the first one that someone ever got, which is amazing. So yeah, that was a risky triple jump right there. And yeah, just talking a bit about this run in general, this whole run was really amazing to watch, and I'm really surprised at the lack of mistakes in this run. And the movement was really good. Like, I liked all the small time saves. Obviously there's stuff that people do now, and the route has changed a bit now. But obviously that saves time. There's just very small things that he's lost time on. Like, he's had a few small mistakes here and there, but overall, like 95% of the time he's been playing like perfectly, I'd say. So yeah, that's a really good sky to end it off. And now I'm pretty sure he hits all 3 throws. Like, looking at the timer, he must hit all 3 throws in order to get the time he gets. So yeah, a really clean run. I can imagine at this run, all the top runners just being scared of this. Like, not scared, but like looking at this and thinking like, this is going to be so hard to beat, because this run is so good. So he manages to get the 2nd throw. And right now he goes for the 3rd throw, and wait for it. There we go, he hits the 3rd throw. And there you go, that's the first 49. So yeah, there you go. You just watched the first sub 50 time in 70 star right there. And it's honestly way more impressive than I thought it would be. I honestly thought that some of these strats would be like outdated now, and that some of the gameplay would be like really old school, but all the gameplay seems like modern 64 gameplay, and there was like not many mistakes, and it's just done really well. Obviously there's things like Lakitu Bounce and Pillarless that weren't really done back then, but even so, like if he had done them, he probably could have got like a 48. So yeah, this is absolutely insane to watch. I really enjoyed watching this and talking about it. If you enjoyed the video, please like the video and subscribe if you're new around here. Also, check out Honey's other videos and speedruns, and watch this run as well because it's really cool. Well, you kind of just watched it from my channel, but oh well. I consider liking the original video because it would mean a lot to him probably. And yeah, I enjoyed making this, and thank you so much for watching. Goodbye.